Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Today I'm going to bring you another one of my rankings videos. So today I'm going to focus on the year of 2004 pay-per-view on DVD for WWE. So without further ado, from worst to best in my opinion, obviously this is my own opinion. You have yours as well guys, you can comment below yours if you like, or talk about mine if you like as well. Let me know in the comments. So here we go. In 14th place, I've decided to go with Vengeance. So it wasn't a terrible pay-per-view by all means, but the first half of this rankings list, I thought to myself, a lot of the pay-per-views seem like episodes of Raw or SmackDown, and to be honest, this one kind of felt just like an episode of Raw instead of a pay-per-view. And let's take a look at it and then we'll go over everything else. So with Randy Orton on the front there. This is one of the ones we got in the UK that have the limited edition bonus disc pack. So this one also contained a Trish Stratus 100% Stratusfaction guaranteed DVD, which I now have twice because I forgot that this one came with that. I also have it as a standalone DVD. So what I might be doing on my channel at some point, if you're interested, guys, let me know in the comments below about this as well. If you think this is a good idea, I'll be giving away the other copy of Trish Stratus, which is a basic standalone DVD with a cover and everything else, because I already have it here, and I'm trying to save shelf space and stuff. And then I'll figure out some sort of giveaway for it in the future. Let me know in the comments if you'd definitely like to see that. Let's get back to this then, guys. So yeah, Randy Orton on the front. There's the spine. And as I said, yeah, we got these in the UK back in 2004. I think 4, maybe 5 of the pay-per-views, but you'll see them in the list anyway, in this ranking list that contain the limited edition bonus disc. So there's the inside. There's the pay-per-view disc and the Stratusfaction disc there. There's the match listing, etc. And there's the back. So we had Victoria versus Molly Holly, Rhino and Tajiri as a tag team against Jonathan Coachman and Garrison Cade. La Resistance against Eugene and Ric Flair. So this is the time when Evolution were using Eugene and tricking him into thinking that they actually cared for him and getting Eugene to do his their dirty deeds, I guess, for them. And yeah, Eugene being what's the right term for it, where I can't get into trouble. He has like a mental disability, so he's fascinated with wrestling and wrestling superstars, and obviously he's like, oh, Ric Flair and oh, Triple H, you know what I mean? And he absolutely loves them all and thinks, you know, that they're not bad and all this shit. And obviously Triple H and Ric Flair use this to their advantage, and you know, as I said, they get Eugene to do all the dirty deeds for him, from what I can remember. And here, Eugene and Ric Flair as a tag team for the World Tag Team Championship against La Resistance. Very strange storyline, though. It eventually builds up to a match between Triple H and Eugene. And Eugene was being put over quite a lot, which was quite interesting. He'd beat some top talent as well, and he was made to look pretty good. He was quite interesting when he first appeared, but he didn't last long with the company. I don't really know what else to say about him, to be honest. No disqualification match between Matt Hardy and Kane, with Lita at ringside. So this was that storyline with Lita getting pregnant by Kane because Kane wanted someone to continue his legacy. So he wanted someone to carry his spawn, and so he impregnated Lita, apparently. And this got very confusing as a storyline eventually because of the whole Matt Hardy Edge situation in real life. The match itself was pretty cool, I thought. And It kind of annoyed me because it made Matt Hardy look better than Kane, the match, the way it was booked. And I would say Matt Hardy was pretty much would have been an underdog going into that, because Kane's like a absolute fucking beast, like a monster. And Matt Hardy, no disrespect, he wouldn't stand a chance against Kane. Just my opinion. And there was no DQ as well. Chris Jericho versus Batista, that was pretty cool. Randy Orton against Edge for the Intercontinental Championship, and Orton being pushed quite heavily throughout the first part of 2004. And then we had an interesting World Heavyweight Championship match between Chris Benoit and Triple H. And we'll get to more of Chris Benoit later. But yeah, I decided to put that one in last place. As I said, these first 7 on the list weren't as good as the final 7, the top 7, sorry. But I didn't know how to rank all of these. I just going by like certain matches, I guess, that I like more than others. So in 13th place, I have the Great American Bash. This one also came with a limited edition disc, Insurrection 2003, which I was going to include in the 2003 rankings, and then I decided not to, and kind of regretted it because I felt cruel not to include it. But it wouldn't have ranked that high because it wasn't a great pay-per-view, I don't think. It had a few interesting moments. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions on it, guys. So this one did feel like an episode of SmackDown, guys. For just my opinion on that, it really did. We had a fatal 4-way for the United States Championships with John Cena against Booker T against Rob Van Dam against Rene Dupree. Charlie Haas versus Luther Reigns. No disrespect to both of those wrestlers, but again, guys, can you see where I'm coming from? That's the sort of shit you'd see on an episode of SmackDown. Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero for the Cruiserweight Championship was probably one of the best matches of this pay-per-view. Billy Gunn versus Kenzo Suzuki. We had Sable against Tori Wilson. Hardcore Holly against Mordecai. I did like the character Mordecai. You've probably heard me say this on this channel before, guys. It's a shame things didn't work out for him. He looked like he could have been a big deal and a big build-up for him. Lots of good video packages building up to his debut. And then at Judgment Day, he made his debut, and it was pretty cool. And it just went all downhill for him then after that because of whatever he did to piss off WWE staff. I can't really remember what it was now, but yeah, he'd basically fucked himself over with his career and his what would have been a mega push between his debut all the way to the following year's WrestleMania. I could have imagined him against The Undertaker eventually, but it is what it is. That's what happened. That's life. Never mind. And that, again, another match that could have been on an episode of SmackDown instead of pay-per-view. Texas Bull Rope match for the WWE Championship between Eddie Guerrero and JBL. Yeah, it was interesting. And having JBL as WWE Champion was quite shocking because it just came out of nowhere. And to begin with, I hated the idea. I was like really against it, and then strangely I grew to really like JBL and his character, and I like to see every time there was a pay-per-view how he would always find a way of retaining his championship, like by luck or by cheating. And yeah, it was quite fun having him as a champion, and he was champion for quite a long time, a good 9 or 10 months. And then it'd be defending the championship every month, and then he'd retain it again, and it would just get more and more interesting. And then he had his cabinet faction, or stable, or whatever you want to call it, with Orlando Jordan and the Basham brothers. Yeah, they weren't exactly Evolution, but yeah, maybe they were a poor man's Evolution, but they were still a good, for SmackDown, they were a good, interesting faction at the time. And SmackDown were taking a different approach, which I liked. You had the very strange concrete crypt match between The Undertaker and the Dudley Boys. This one is just absolutely bizarre. like a handicap match with Paul Bearer inside of a crypt, which gets filled with concrete, obviously. And ends up being Undertaker killing off Paul Bearer. Very strange. But yeah, I found this one more memorable than Vengeance, so that's why I kind of put that one above that one, I guess. Next up in 12th place, we have Unforgiven and Insane Pain Kane. Interesting front cover for that one. There's the disc. No match insert on that one, unfortunately, and no interior artwork either. So we had the World Heavyweight Championship match between Randy Orton and Triple H. Kind of annoyed me because of the way that Randy Orton had won the championship at SummerSlam. Very memorable moment, I guess for Randy Orton and for a lot of WWE fans. He unexpectedly won it out of nowhere while a part of Evolution, and at such a young age as well. I'm pretty sure he was 24 when he won the championship here. I do apologise if I got that wrong. And yeah, he's like the youngest ever world heavyweight champion at the time. It's all getting confusing because of the different world championships and stuff. I'm thinking of Brock Lesnar. I think he was originally the original youngest champion in WWE, and I think Orton beat that or something. I can't remember how it worked, but anyway, Triple H winning it back and just beating Orton 1 month after he'd won the championship. It just felt like a slap in the face for Orton and all his hard work. Kind of annoyed me, and very undeserved of Triple H to have won that again. Shawn Michaels against Kane was quite fun. The ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship between Chris Jericho and Christian was fun. La Resistance, who were still doing well as a tag team. I think they started out in 2003, didn't they, guys? And here they are in 2004 against Rhino and Tajiri, an interesting pairing of two ECW or former ECW wrestlers. A very good, entertaining tag match between Chris Benoit and William Regal as they took on Batista and Ric Flair and beat them as well, which was cool. Trish Stratus against Victoria for the WWE Women's Championship. In 11th place, got another one of those limited edition bonus pack ones. So this is Bad Blood 2004. This one came with Rebellion 2002. Again with the discs. Nice little advert for Day of Reckoning on the GameCube there. That was a pretty cool game back in the day. Yeah, so we had... I didn't show you the back, sorry guys, that's my bad. There we go. I was reading the matches from this because it's more clearer for me, a bit bigger writing as well. So yeah, La Resistance against Chris Benoit and Edge. We have Chris Jericho against Tyson Tomko. Randy Orton versus Shelton Benjamin. Victoria versus Gail Kim versus Lita versus Trish Stratus. Eugene against Jonathan Coachman. Chris Benoit versus Kane, which was good. And Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, which was also a very good match. And yeah, that's pretty much Bad Blood. Again, just felt like another episode of Raw though, sadly. Don't mean to keep repeating that same saying, but that's how it just comes across. In 10th place then, guys, excuse me. In 10th place we have No Mercy, JBL on the front cover there. And yeah, as I said, I started to really enjoy some of JBL's title defenses throughout 2004, leading into 2005. He did a last ride match for the WWE Championship here against The Undertaker, defending his championship. And I believe this is the one, spoiler alert, sorry guys, that ends with Heidenreich taking out The Undertaker with a car, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was a pretty cool main event. The rest of the undercard was, I got mixed feelings about. So we had like a 6-person tag match Rico, Charlie Haas and Miss Jackie versus the Dudley Boys and Dawn Marie. Match number 5 in the best of 5 series for the US Championship between John Cena and Booker T. They had a very good best of 5 series. I did enjoy that series of matches between them both. Big Show versus Kurt Angle. Kenzo Suzuki and Rene Dupree versus Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Paul London versus Billy Kidman. Spike Dudley putting his Cruiserweight Championship up for grabs against Nunzio. Eddie Guerrero versus Luther Reigns. Luther Reigns, I don't know if you guys can remember him. No, he's not related to Roman Reigns as far as I know, to new fans of WWE. He was like a henchman or a bodyguard for Kurt Angle. He didn't seem to last too long though. He could have been another one of those promising stars. He had the build for it and everything, and he was in a few movies as well from what I remember, but he didn't really make a name for himself in WWE, unfortunately for him. So Armageddon I decided to put in 9th place. Sorry guys, losing count. And yeah, the Big Show there on the front. Another one of JBL's infamous or famous WWE Championship defenses, this time in a fatal 4-way against The Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero and Booker T. We had a street fight for the United States Championship between John Cena and Jesus, which is spelled Jesus, with Carlito in his corner. Don't know if you guys can remember Jesus. He was only around for a few months and just disappeared from SmackDown. I didn't really see him again. I don't think any of us saw him again, unless he ended up on a few episodes of Velocity for like a year maybe. I don't know. But they never really done anything else with him from what I can remember. Let me know in the comments below if you know where Jesus is nowadays, guys. I'd be interested to know. I haven't looked him up or anything. It's just a blast from the past, I guess, that name. Big Show in a 3-on-1 handicap match against Luther Reigns, who we were talking about just now. Mark Jindrak and Kurt Angle. Seems a bit unfair for poor Big Show, but it was an entertaining bout anyway. I did enjoy that one. Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio made a good tag team on SmackDown in a WWE Tag Team Championship match against Kenzo Suzuki and Rene Dupree. Spike Dudley still going strong with his Cruiserweight Championship as he put it on the line against Funaki. The Dixie Dogfight Tough Enough finalists Daniel Puder and Mike Mizanin in a boxing match. That was pretty bad. It's strange with the outcome as well, how you look back at both of those competitors now and where they both ended up here in 2023. Mike Mizanin as The Miz, obviously. He's done ever so well and had a very successful career in WWE, while Daniel Puder, however, kind of screwed himself over after shooting on Kurt Angle, I do believe, on an episode of SmackDown, which kind of pissed off a lot of people, including Kurt Angle. He put him in an illegal submission or some shit. I can't remember. That was such a long time ago, but yeah, something to do with that. Miss Jackie versus Dawn Marie with Charlie Haas as special referee as well to wrap that one up. And then in 8th place, I decided to put Taboo Tuesday. As I've said in previous videos, or a previous video in relation to Cyber Sunday and Taboo Tuesday, I thought it was a great concept. I like the idea where fans can vote for the match stipulation or the participants of a match. And yeah, some of them were pretty cool. Some of them were interesting choices and stuff. But sadly, it didn't seem to work for whatever reason. I think it pissed a lot of people backstage off in the WWE, from what I read years ago in Power Slam, where fans were picking wrestlers who WWE didn't want to push at the time or didn't think they would get over or anything, because that eventually led to I think it was Cyber Sunday 2008, where they were building up what's his name, Vladimir Kozlov, I think it was around that time, and then the fans didn't want to pick him. They wanted to pick Jeff Hardy, but WWE obviously wanted to put Vladimir Kozlov in the match or some shit. I can't remember. Something like that anyway. Let's stick to this list anyway, guys. I'm going off topic. So we had Chris Jericho versus Shelton Benjamin in a very, very cool match. We had a Fulfill Your Fantasy Diva Battle Royal for the Women's Championship. Trish versus Victoria versus Molly Holly versus Jazz versus Nydia versus Gail Kim versus Stacy Keibler in a schoolgirls outfits match. Kane versus Gene Snitsky in a steel chain match. That was a very strange feud. Gene Snitsky, I don't like what he does to babies. He boots them in the crowd and shit. That's fucked up. He was fucked up. Eugene versus Eric Bischoff. Loser must get his head shaved bald. That was quite fun. World Tag Team Championship match. La Resistance against Chris Benoit and Edge. Christy Hemme versus Carmella in a lingerie pillow fight. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels was a very good match. I must admit, guys, I did enjoy that one. And we had Randy Orton versus Ric Flair in a steel cage match, which was it was very, very bloody, that one. Very bloody match. So that's the first half of this list, from worst to best. And this is where stuff started to get more interesting for me now in this second part of the list. So in 7th place, I decided to go with SummerSlam. This is another one of those limited edition bonus disc packs with the Best of WWE Confidential Volume 1. And I think there's a different variant of this SummerSlam 2004 cover where they get rid of the screenshot of Chris Benoit and Randy Orton. They just have Undertaker and JBL on the front because of the shit that happened with Benoit, which is understandable. There's the discs. There's the back. And matches. So this one had a 6-man tag team match. Rey Mysterio, Paul London and Billy Kidman against Spike Dudley, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. So all 3 Dudley boys. Till Death Do Us Part match. Lita marries the winner. Matt Hardy versus Kane. Again, interesting storyline, but it's strange how it all ended up, that storyline. It was all over the place. Just my opinion, just because of everything that happens around it. Like Gene Snitsky getting involved at some point as well around this time, or just after maybe, or maybe it was just before. I can't remember. All the months are jumbled up in my head at the moment. Got match number 1 in the best of 5 series for the undisputed United States Championship. As I was talking about earlier, good series between Booker T and John Cena. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Edge versus Batista versus Jericho was very cool. So was Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle was probably one of my favourite matches of that evening. Triple H and Eugene, surprisingly, was a good match. JBL versus The Undertaker for the WWE Championship. I remember reading somewhere that Undertaker wanted JBL to put him over clean, and JBL didn't want that to happen. He refused to let that happen, and Undertaker was like really cool with it and tried to push it to happen and everything else. And I do believe in real life JBL and Undertaker are really good friends. So that was quite an interesting story which I heard. We had the main event, which always still stays in my mind, stands out for this pay-per-view, with world champion Chris Benoit defending against Randy Orton, and Orton winning the championship for the very first time at such a young age. Like I said, he had one hell of a year, Randy Orton, in 2004. 6th place, I decided to go with Survivor Series. Interesting artwork on the front with all the animations. There's the disc, advert for SmackDown vs. Raw, and chapters, which I'll show you guys in a second. There's the back. So yeah, we had... sorry guys, I'm just finding out where I am on here. Right, yes, so Undertaker versus Heidenreich. I liked Heidenreich. And I liked the idea of how they were going to bring him in storyline to begin with. Apparently he was going to be like one of those World War soldiers, or a soldier from the World War that had been cryogenetically frozen. And imagine if they went ahead and still did that, how that would have turned out on TV and everything else. But I didn't mind his character, but I didn't like him when he started doing all the poetry shit and the Michael Cole Hayden rape thing. It was weird. Very strange shit. But yeah, it was a good little feud with Heidenreich and Undertaker. And obviously Undertaker wanted revenge for what happened at No Mercy. It's not really saying a lot about the matches, is it, guys? I'm ever so sorry. I'm going to have to read from the back then. So yeah, JBL in another one of his WWE Championship defenses against Booker T. 4-on-4 Survivor Series match. So we have Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven versus Triple H, Edge, Batista, and Snitsky. The match stipulation of this: the winning team, each member would be in control of Raw. So they'd have basically the winning team would be 4 weeks in control of Raw. So 1 week. So the winners were, here we go, spoiler alert again. Sorry, guys. So the winning team was Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven. So 1 week we would have Randy Orton as the guy in charge of booking the matches. Then the following week would be Benoit, then Jericho, then Maven, if that made sense. And we had a Fatal 4-Way Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Spike Dudley versus Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero versus Billy Kidman. Another 4-on-4 Survivor Series match, SmackDown 1. So we had Eddie Guerrero, Big Show, RVD, and John Cena against Kurt Angle, Carlito, Caribbean Cool. I forgot when he was called that. It's quite a mouthful. And he always used to have a mouthful of apples and spit in the face of people that didn't want to be cool. Mark Jindrak and Luther Reigns were their other partners. It seems a very strange team again. Undertaker against Heidenreich, as I said about just now. Shelton Benjamin versus Christian for the Intercontinental Championship. And Trish Stratus versus Lita for the Women's Championship. As we move slowly into the top 5 now, guys. Sorry about this video being so long. The Royal Rumble in 5th place. Cena on the front there. And yes, very good last man standing match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. As I said in my other video about in regards to 2002 SummerSlam, I wasn't too keen on that match, but I did say that they do get better, and that's probably one of my favourite matches between those two. It was very fucking good, very entertaining. Got Brock Lesnar versus Hardcore Holly for the WWE Championship. And Brock Lesnar had broken Hardcore Holly's neck in a match a year before this, I think it was. So Hardcore Holly was looking for revenge. And what better way to get revenge and also get granted a WWE Championship match out of nowhere for, the big draw, Hardcore Holly. No disrespect to Hardcore Holly, but I never thought I'd ever see him in a WWE Championship match back then, and I was proven wrong, obviously. The Royal Rumble match, which had 15 Raw and 15 SmackDown superstars to complete, and the winner gets a title shot at WrestleMania 20. So I'm trying to remember what WrestleMania we were on then for a second. But yeah, very good Royal Rumble match. Not the best Royal Rumble match I've seen, but it was a good one. A strange outcome. Big Show a runner-up again, as he was back in, was it 2000? When it was between him and The Rock. But yeah, he was, I think he was runner-up here. And Benoit, it's strange how he eliminated him. He's took ages to pull him over the ropes, from what I can remember. But very cool. Eddie Guerrero versus Chavo Guerrero. Rey Mysterio versus Jamie Noble for the Cruiserweight Championship. And the Dudley Boys put their tag titles on the line in a tables match against Ric Flair and Batista, which was very entertaining. Good pay-per-view. 4th place. I decided to go with No Way Out 2004. wanted for lying, cheating and stealing, Eddie Guerrero. And this is a SmackDown Presents one as well, guys. Disc. And matches on the back. Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship. When this match was announced, back obviously when it took place and everything, going into this pay-per-view, I pretty much thought to myself, did I really want to bother watching the main event? No disrespect to Eddie Guerrero, he doesn't stand a chance against Lesnar. How fucking wrong was I? And obviously he needed help from Goldberg, but that was quite a shocking and entertaining main event for the WWE Championship, I must admit. Definitely. Fair play to Eddie Guerrero. Triple threat match. Kurt Angle versus John Cena versus Big Show. The winner got a number one contender match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That was a good one. The Cruiserweight Championship. So we had Rey Mysterio against Chavo Guerrero, that is. And Nidia versus Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble must wrestle the match blindfolded. Entertaining for what it was, but another one of those strange booking ideas, I guess. Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty in a WWE Tag Team title handicap match against the Basham Brothers and Shaniqua. Hardcore Holly versus Rhino. APA versus the world's greatest tag team. And a 6-man tag team match. Ultimo Dragon, Paul London and Billy Kidman against Tajiri, Akio and Sakota. Kind of had that SmackDown episode-ish kind of feel to it, I guess, but I'm not going to keep repeating that. Sorry, guys. In third place, I decided to put Judgment Day, SmackDown Presents. I like the cover for this one as well, the Undertaker, the burning symbol, Undertaker logo, whatever. So, we had Tori Wilson against Dawn Marie, Scotty 2 Hotty versus the debuting Mordecai. The DVD extras on this are pretty awesome. It shows like the build-up for Mordecai, I do believe. And also shows the build-up to the match between Undertaker and Booker T, where Booker T goes to a witch doctor and tries to get some voodoo spells to use against the dead man, which was quite cool. I like storylines like that. I wish they still use them nowadays. We had the Cruiserweight Championship match between Jacqueline and Chavo Guerrero, which was entertaining. WWE Tag Team title match. Rico and Charlie Haas versus Billy Gunn and Hardcore Holly. Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio versus Dudley Boys. John Cena versus Rene Dupree for the US Championship. And yes, guys, you knew it was coming. It's time to talk about that main event. I'm not going to spend too long on it, though. Excuse me, guys. So Eddie Guerrero versus JBL for the WWE Championship. This was absolutely bloody. Really bloody. It was like a horror movie. I got my good friend Nathan the Wrestling Guy to review this. I think it was earlier this year or last year. Late last year, maybe. And, yeah, go check that out on his channel. I was going to say, guys, sorry. And then back to this match. It's absolutely brutal. The amount of blood lost from both, well, especially Eddie Guerrero. I do believe he lost a few pints of blood and had to end up having a transfusion or something, and he collapsed backstage, from what I read in magazines back in the day. He just bled everywhere. It just wouldn't stop coming out his head. It was absolutely shocking stuff. The match was very good as well, I did think. But yeah, that's certainly, this pay-per-view certainly memorable for that one match. But I did like some of the undercard matches. That's why I've moved it up so high as well. So that was third place. Second place, I decided to go with WrestleMania 20. You guys are thinking in your head, oh, I wonder what number one is then. It's not WrestleMania. Some of you smarter guys would probably, I'm not saying you're all not smart, but really smart wrestling fans will probably know straight away which would be number one. We'll get to that in a sec anyway. So we had like Big Show against John Cena for the US Championship. Fatal 4-way match for the World Championship. RVD versus Booker T versus Dudley Boys versus Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak versus La Resistance. That's a mouthful. Chris Jericho versus Christian. The Rock and Sock Connection against Evolution in a 2-on-3 handicap match which was enjoyable. I did like that one. Sable and Tori Wilson versus Stacy Keibler and Miss Jackie. First ever WWE Cruiserweight Championship Open with Chavo, Jamie Noble, Funaki, Ultimo Dragon, Rey Mysterio, Nunzio, Tajiri, Shannon Moore and Billy Kidman. The terrible match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar in an interpromotional match. Stone Cold Steve Austin as special guest referee. That is one of the worst WrestleMania matches I've ever seen in my life. It's like a dream match, but it was a total disaster. I know the reasons behind why it could have been, but I don't want to make this video longer than it already has been, guys, so sorry about that. Fatal 4-way match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi versus APA and the Basham Brothers and the world's greatest tag team. Victoria versus Molly Holly for the Women's Championship. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship, which was awesome. So was Undertaker versus Kane. And so was the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Royal Rumble winner Chris Benoit. So not your best ever WrestleMania event, but certainly a memorable one, which has has a handful of good matches, we'll say, would be fair. I've put it in second in my rankings, so it wasn't a total disaster by any means. And in first place, if you haven't guessed it already, guys, we have Backlash. I think Nathan the Wrestling Guy also may have reviewed this. Sorry I knocked the camera then, guys. If you want to go check that out on his channel as well. Apologies, Nathan, if I got that wrong. I'm pretty sure you did cover this one for me as well. Or you did it off your own back. I can't remember now. It was such a long time ago. But it was a good review, as was the Judgment Day 2004 you did. So this one had Shelton Benjamin against Ric Flair, which was entertaining. Very, very good. I thought Shelton Benjamin deserved better in his career. He should have had a run with the World Championship. Just my opinion, though, guys. Tajiri against Jonathan Coachman. 2-on-1 handicap match. Jericho versus Christian and Trish Stratus. We had Victoria versus Lita for the Women's Championship. Randy Orton versus Mick Foley in a hardcore match for the Intercontinental Championship is probably my favourite match of 2004. Very brutal, very violent, very hardcore. If you've never seen that match, guys, check it out. Please, by all means. We had a number one contender for the Tag Team Championship. So we had Hurricane and Rosie versus La Resistance. Edge versus Kane. The final encounter, triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this was a rematch from WrestleMania. So we had Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. And I'd say this was better than the WrestleMania match between the three of them. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this today. So this list is my own personal list, and you guys all have your own personal lists. Let me know in the comments below yours, and if you like this today, give me a thumbs up. I think I'm losing my voice, guys. All that talking I've done. So yeah, sorry for some coughing throughout that video. I'll see you again in a day or two for a review I've got coming up for Bound for Glory 2011 from TNA. And I'm thinking about a Fastlane pay-per-view review as well before the end of the week. If I can squeeze that in, that'd be good. Because we have Fastlane 2023 approaching this weekend, I do believe. And a few other video ideas in the works as well, guys. Stay safe for now. I'll catch you again for the next video. Goodbye for now, guys. Take care.